story. The expectation of the Browns is that Baker Mayfield will be their starting quarterback in 2022 and will bounce back after struggling through an injury-plagued season. According to GM Andrew Berry, Mayfield is having shoulder surgery next Wednesday. Bears have asked for permission from the Buccaneers to interview offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich and defensive coordinator Todd Bowles for their head coaching opening. Whoever ends up with that job will face a couple of big challenges, notes ESPN 1000 Chicago's Tom Waddle.
I think the offensive line needs to be completely rebuilt. Defensively, they've had some really good years, but they're long in the tooth. From a cap standpoint, they're probably middle of the pack. They don't have a first-round draft pick this year, and they also reside in the same division as the Packers.
Tom Waddle on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. From ESPN's Jeff Passan, Major League Baseball and the Players Union plan to meet on Thursday to hold their first bargaining session since players were locked out by the league on December 2nd. MLB plans to make a proposal that touches on some core economic and competitive issues. A new labor deal needs to be in place by early March for the 2022 season to start on time.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. By now you know, but this happened last night.
And one more play for the Georgia defense. Georgia on the mountaintop. Demons be gone, and the drought is over. National champions at long last.
41 years in the making, Georgia has won the Natty. Hey, Muso. I am so glad. I didn't listen to you, Muso. I'm glad you failed so miserably in your attempt to get me off of my perch, which was picking the Georgia Bulldogs to get off the schneid and beat Alabama.
You were nervous when Stetson Bennett, air quotes, fumbled. You were nervous. Don't lie.
That was an awful call, by the way.
Yeah, he threw it 10 yards.
How does the ball, if you're if you fumble, how does the ball go forward? I actually freeze framed it. It was 9 yards.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think physics works that way.
No,
but
maybe in Indianapolis, gravitational pull, something like that.
Only
I don't know.
in Lucas Oil Stadium. But admit it, Matt.
Yeah.
When that happened, you said, "Oh God, here we go."
No, and I was actually a long way to go. And I was really impressed with the response right there to sling it right down the field. I was actually surprised they didn't do that the entire game. That was sort of the premise I thought they would come out to, because that's what they did against Michigan. That worked so well. But Muso tried all day yesterday to convince me, against my better judgment, to go with Bama instead of Georgia. I didn't listen to him, and thank God I didn't. It was a pretty nice, fun little ticket to cash there, Muse.
Hey.
I'm a little conflicted, though. I really am emotionally conflicted because I'm so glad Alabama lost. I mean, it's always fun to watch crimson tears fall into a river. But Georgia winning kind of creates some other issues. We'll delve into all of that. Here was Kirby last night after his team hoisted first national championship since 1980.
Feelings I have and the emotion I have for these players and these young men. I mean, I'm looking over here at these guys, JD teams, and these guys waiting to go. And I've never been around a group of players that really wanted it so bad and wouldn't be denied. I mean, remember, a lot of these guys decided to come back and they bought in, and we changed a lot of off-season things. we cut out the indoor and we went to the stadium. We did a lot of things, and the toughness brought a lot more toughness back. And I just can't say enough about the leaders.
Kirby Smart last night, one of the things that he said that was so interesting last night on the field was, when they asked him how it felt after 41 years to finally win the national championship, he said it won't take that long to win the next one. And that's kind of where the conflicting part comes in for me. Yes, it's always nice to see Alabama lose, but the point I made going into the game was, man, it is Nick's made his point, right? Nick's won 7 national championships. He's the greatest coach in the history of college football. If Bama wins another, so what? It's Bama. They're just going to keep winning them. It's what they do. But now Georgia's won a national championship. And Georgia, the albatross around their neck was always that they couldn't win the big one and that Kirby couldn't get over the hump. And that was sort of the point and laugh. Like, Georgia's going to choke. They're going to blow it. And it's one of those things where you look and you say, is Georgia potentially on the cusp of maybe a little half-decade run, kind of like we just saw with Clemson, where they were and I think that's over now, by the way, with Clemson. Huge question marks for Dabo, as he's got to replace both coordinators. And I don't know that he'll be able to effectively do that. But for Georgia now, could they potentially be in the midst of of this sort of little bit of run of their own right, where maybe they go on a little, spurt and win a few now that they've broken the seal? All of that is certainly up in the air. For Nick Saban, though, one of the real cool moments after the game was Nick and Kirby at midfield, and Nick kind of smiling and congratulating Kirby. And here's what he said after the game.
I love Kirby. Kirby had a lot of respect for us. He did a great job for us for a long time. If we had to lose a national championship, I'd rather lose one to one of the former assistants who sort of did a great job for us and has done a great job with his program and his team. And if any team they deserve it. They played great all year. We were the only team to beat them in the SEC championship game. And, we just couldn't finish the game tonight like we wanted to. But I think Kirby has done a really, really good job there. I congratulate him on the win. I'm really proud of him, and I'm proud of the way he's been able to coach his team and the consistency that they've played with all year.
A lot of people asked, Nick kind of smiled during the handshake, and a lot had asked, have you ever seen a losing coach, smile during the handshake? And I can tell you there's one other time that I remember it, and it's funny that I remember it because it is so rare, right? Coaches are generally cordial. They're disappointed in that moment. But cordial, but the losing coach smiling. The one time that I really remember it was the 2008 NBA Finals, and it was Phil Jackson when the Lakers lost to the Boston Celtics. I remember Phil smiling when he congratulated Doc Rivers. It's just something that you don't typically see because there's just a lot of disappointment in that moment. But Nick was smiling, congratulating his former assistant, a guy who won a national championship here at LSU. As an assistant under Nick Saban, won a national championship at Alabama as an assistant under Nick Saban, and now has won one at Georgia, beating Nick Saban as a head coach. The two greatest things that I saw last night, however, one, both were post-game, incidentally. The game itself, the first half was boring as hell. It was a field goal fest. Fowler referenced 2011 LSU Bama. I wanted to puke in my – I know. I was like, get out of here, Fowler. Chris Fowler, as great as he is as a studio host, he's a terrible play-by-play man. He's just so erratic and not very good in that role. He's one of the best ever as far as a desk host hosting your college game day. As play-by-play guy, is terrible. Well, I shouldn't say terrible, but he's not. He's certainly not elite. But the game was a bore fest in the first half. It got very exciting in the second half. But after the game, of course, you have all seen this by now. Georgia was handed the wrong hats. So I would assume that they had the boxes mislabeled, and so Georgia ended up with Alabama championship gear. There's Nakobe Dean forevermore. The icon, Nakobe Dean, national champion, future first-round draft pick. Hey, look, you can't blame Georgia, right? First time in 40 years, they're not used to getting the correct box of hats. They just haven't had to do this really ever in 40 years. So I don't even know if they had championship hats 40 years ago when they won that Sugar Bowl over Notre Dame to win the Natty. But that was a funny moment, if nothing else. And then Stetson Bennett, many of you have seen this, and you all know that I am a whiskey connoisseur. Stetson Bennett, post-game, wearing the correct hat, by the way, was taking pulls directly from a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 23 year. if you're not hip on whiskey lingo, I see you could see there he does have the correct hat on, which is good to see. That bottle from which he is drinking, I mean, he's drinking directly from the bottle. If you go on the secondary market to buy a bottle of Pappy 23, you're going to spend in excess of $4,000 or $5,000 for a bottle of Pappy for 23-year-old Pappy Van Winkle. Part of me cries a little bit inside seeing him do this because you're not getting the full experience of a 23-year-old Pappy Van Winkle. So you should pour it and let it open up and enjoy it thoroughly. The flip side of it is you're making a memory when you drink Pappy 23, and I'll be damned, Stetson Bennett isn't really going to remember the flavor profile of that Van Winkle 23. He's just going to remember pulling straight from a bottle there in the bowels of Lucas Oil Stadium after winning Georgia's first national championship in 41 years. So congrats to the Bulldogs on their title. The people who are actually having the worst day today are the Danny Cannells of the world, who are the SEC is really just Bama, because that's 3 straight years now that the SEC team has won the national championship, and it's 3 different teams. LSU, Bama, Georgia consecutively. Since the BCS College Football Playoff era, 6 different SEC teams have won the national championship. Tennessee, LSU, Florida, Bama, Auburn, and now Georgia. Yes, suffice to say that the league is much deeper than just Alabama. Congrats to Georgia. It's their moment, like similar to LSU in 2003 when Tiger fans waited 45 years to win the national championship. Some thinking they'd never see it again. Maybe that was just a forbidden fruit of sorts. And to finally scale that mountain was an incredible day and feeling, and no doubt Georgia fans are feeling the same thing today, so congrats to all of them. All right, it's after further review. Larry Holder, bottom of this hour, we'll talk some Saints. Jeff Ireland is apparently up for the GM job with the Chicago Bears, and Taysom Hill is going to need foot surgery after a Lisfranc injury he suffered on Sunday against the Falcons. So we'll get into all that with Larry Holder, bottom of this hour. Todd Graffagnini next hour. It is officially basketball season now, so we'll talk some Pels with Graff. Kevin Faulk, yesterday elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. He'll be with us at 4:30 today. Ross Dellinger, who was covering the Natty, he'll be with us in hour number 3. We got a ton to get to, and so glad to have you aboard with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Tell you every day to buy local and shop local over at Clegg's Nursery because they've been around for 60 years. Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations, Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Listen, I know it's cold right now, but there are plants and flowers seasonally that are year-round. There are flowers that you can plant right now in the winter. So if your flower bed, your landscape, your flower pots are looking kind of drab and tired and gray, you can add a pop of color to brighten things up this time of year. And Clegg's Nursery has that selection. If you're not sure what to plant, no worries. They have expert horticulturists at all of their locations that can answer those questions for you. Maybe take a picture of your outdoor space and say, what would look good right here? They can help. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them that Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Just to see it and understand what it was, wow. Like I told my wife when I told her I wasn't expecting this for another 10, 15 years. Just with the opportunity that the great that already have played the game, still playing the game now, it is a blessing.
Kevin Faulk earlier today met with the media to discuss his election to the College Football Hall of Fame. He is going to join us a little more than an hour from right now, 4:30 Central Time. We'll talk to Kevin, and we'll go a little deeper into all of this. But I'm pumped for him. Just one of those guys who transcends LSU football. He was phenomenal, and he was asked what this election, becoming the 11th former Tiger player elected to the College Football Hall of Fame, does for his legacy.
Another part of it. You never know what happens going forward. You try to continue to build your legacy as a person, young man as I am, but just still building. It took me a while to understand and figure out who I was when football was done. I got a really good idea right now, and it's just to continue to build that. We don't know what's next, but continue to build and continue to move forward.
Kevin Faulk, just was absolutely sensational during his time at LSU. Many of his records still stand. And, he talked a lot about the emotion, what he's been through here this past year. I think everyone knows well that he and his family suffered through the death of his daughter. And on top of that, was let go when Brian Kelly came in. And he was very emotional today. I mean, Kevin Faulk was crying during the bulk of this press conference, and you could tell not only what it meant for him, the election of the College Football Hall of Fame, but just the opportunity to be at LSU. It was very moving, and look, he even addressed what it was like for him being let go by the new coaching staff.
Yeah, but I was hurt, Like I told my aunt, I'm human. We all human. I can understand certain things, but when you hurt, you hurt. So it took a while. And it took a while to understand a lot of things. It meant a lot. Because I wasn't going nowhere. I'm too loyal to this place.
He said, I wasn't going anywhere. I'm too loyal to this place. He went on there and said, forever LSU, LSU Tiger. I mean, It's the kind of thing where in the current age of NIL and transfers and opt-outs and things that really disappoint fans and fan bases, that is a glimpse into the contrast, into what college football for many of us was, for so many was, and for so many is not now. Great moment for Kevin Faulk, being elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. He'll be with us here in hour number 2. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations across South Louisiana. Their newest location is in Denham Springs. So if you're out there in Livingston, check them out on LA 16, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. If you find yourself needing new tires, don't overpay. Shaw Bills has great deals. Tap the promotions tab at the website, and you can see all of the manufacturer offers and also the in-store offers. Like if you use your Shaw Bills credit card, you get $50 off instantly any purchase. ShawBillsTire.com to learn more. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, Larry Holder in about 10 minutes, so we'll switch. We'll flip it up right here. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
A New York Giants offensive line coach, Rob Sale, is leaving the NFL to become the offensive coordinator for Billy Napier at the University of Florida. So Sale heads back to the SEC, reunites with Florida and Napier. Sale was Napier's OC and offensive line coach at ULL, where they set a bunch of records back in 2019. You might remember Sale, 42 years old, was an offensive lineman at LSU from 1999 to 2002.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Chris Rodriguez, the dynamic Kentucky running back, he has announced he is returning to school for the 2022 season. Said his goals when he went to college were rewrite the record book and be the first in his family to graduate from college. He will have the opportunity to do that, as he's the latest addition to a strong Kentucky roster for 2022. Was the second leading rusher in the SEC behind Missouri's Tyler Batty this past year.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Wake Forest running back transfer Christian Beal-Smith has committed to the Gamecocks. He's the fourth transfer addition since Saturday. Beal-Smith has been Wake Forest's leading rusher the past 2 seasons. He'll be immediately eligible, of course, and it comes at a good time for the Gamecocks with both Kevin Harris and Zaquandre White both declaring for the draft.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State got the commitment of a transfer cornerback, Jackie Matthews. 5'10 DB, who's a grad transfer, spent the last 2 seasons at West Virginia, began his season in Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. 3-star recruit out of high school. Mississippi State has also landed, of course, 4-star cornerback Marcus Banks, a transfer from Alabama, so that secondary there is being remade in Starkville.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tight end Charlie Browder is transferring from UCF to Tennessee. He's a Tennessee native, so it's a homecoming of sorts. 6'7", 270, signed with Central Florida class of 2021 for Josh Heupel. Heupel then, of course, became the Tennessee head coach, so they're reuniting now in Knoxville. He'll have 4 seasons of eligibility remaining.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss had a player go out and a player come in, so they've landed a big-time safety transfer from the portal in Iowa State's Isheem Young. Young was heavily considering Texas A&M and Southern Cal. He starred for Iowa State in that secondary for 2 seasons. Meanwhile, defensive back Jalen Jordan has entered the transfer portal with 2 years of eligibility remaining. Played all 13 games for Ole Miss this past season. He's a 4-year letterman and the 14th Rebel to enter the transfer portal since November.
The Missouri Tigers.
And Mizzou's 2022 football season will no longer open with back-to-back road games. Mizzou has canceled their contract for the season opener at Middle Tennessee. Why were you ever going to Middle Tennessee anyway? They'll instead open at home against Louisiana Tech before going on the road for a Week 2 game at Kansas State. Louisiana Tech, meanwhile, canceled a game at Baylor to make room for the trip to Missouri. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. Y'all, the next game for Courtside for Charity is Thursday. Thursday is the next game. It's at home for the Pelicans against the Clippers. If you want to win the courtside seats for that game, courtesy of Gulf Coast Office Products, Go buy your raffle ticket right now. Go to 1045ESPN.com. On the flipper on the homepage, you'll see Courtside for Charity. It's $20 a chance, or you can get 6 chances for $100 or 15 chances for $250. Remember, all of the money raised goes to benefit 4 charities. The money will be divided evenly among 4 charities. St. Lillian Academy, which is a special needs school where my son attends, the Arc of Baton Rouge, Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Alzheimer's Services of the capital area. Again, this Thursday is the Clippers game, so we'll draw tomorrow. We are drawing tomorrow for the Thursday game against the Clippers. So get to 1045ESPN.com. Again, on the flipper, on the homepage, Courtside for Charity is where you'll see it, where you can go easily purchase your tickets. And we'll draw tomorrow in hour number 3 for the game for Thursday. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. If you've never, I say it every day, but if you've not ever sat on the floor for an NBA game, there's nothing like it. Here's your chance to see one for potentially $20 and also to help some great charities, courtesy of Gulf Coast Office Products. Go to 1045ESPN.com. After the Thursday game, there's only one game remaining. It's the February 8th game against Houston at the Blender. So go buy your tickets. If you already bought a raffle ticket previously, you're entered for all the drawings. Don't worry about it, but you can always go buy more at 1045ESPN.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We will talk, speaking of which, we will talk some Pels in 35 minutes from right now. Graff will be with us. Pels are back on the floor tonight. We'll kind of get a catch-up on what we've missed up until this point in the season, as the Pels have managed to win a game or two here or there after a really rough start. They're at home tonight against Minnesota. So Graff will be with us in about 30 minutes, and then Kevin Faulk 1 hour from right now. Glad you're aboard. When we come back, Larry Holder will join us from The Athletic. We'll do a little post-mortem on the Saints season, and a lot's happened. Taysom Hill looks like he's going to have foot surgery, which could keep him out for the bulk of the offseason. Jeff Ireland is a candidate for the GM job there up in Chicago, as the Saints try to remake parts of this roster to become a title contender again. We'll talk about it all with Larry Holder when we return on AFR.
AFR.
The official banking partner of the New Orleans Saints and of the LSU Tigers, Hancock Whitney Bank, HancockWhitney.com. HancockWhitney.com. You go to the website, you can find out about if it's small business banking or commercial banking, if it's their wealth management products that they have. It's all there at the website at HancockWhitney.com, HancockWhitney.com. You can also find a financial center near you online at HancockWhitney.com. I told you, as long as I've had a bank, as long as I've had a checking account or banked, Hancock Whitney has been my bank. And depending on where I've been in life and what part of town I've lived in, I've had a different branch. For a while, the downtown branch was my branch. For a while, the Perkins branch near Essen was my branch. Right now, it's the Highland Road branch near I-10. No matter where you are in the greater Baton Rouge area, though, or in the Gulf region, there's a Hancock Whitney branch near you. Hancock Whitney Bank, for 120 years, their mantra has been your dreams, our mission. Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah, I think that leans on leadership, both from within the team, from the coaching staff, that leads on, the next plan. It gets back to the ingredients. It's back to getting the right type of people in the building, because if you don't have that, then what we're talking about becomes impossible.
Sean Payton, as he does the season wrap-up, as he met with the media to talk about what the Saints look like going into the offseason, trying to build toward next season. One thing that we do know is that the injury that Taysom Hill suffered on Sunday is is pretty intense and is actually going to require surgery, as Sean Payton said on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a Liz Frank. He actually had one. He just was up here. We were talking. He had one before on his right foot. So when he planted, because I didn't see how it happened, but when he planted with his left foot, he felt something. My take is they'll have to do a surgery. That's what I heard today. So it's a Liz Frank. They'll repair that area and then do a smaller surgery to remove the hardware after it's healed.
If you remember, Marcus Davenport had a Liz Frank injury, kept him out about 7 months. That's pretty much the timeline that you'd be looking for. So maybe sometime around the summer is when you'd have Taysom Hill ready to roll. Larry Holder joins us, theathletic.com/New Orleans, to talk some Saints. Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm good, Matthew. How are you?
Well, doing better than Taysom Hill and the rest of the Saints, who had their season end on Sunday. Let me get your take on Taysom's injury and what that means for him moving forward.
I don't really think it affects what he's going to be, because I don't suspect he will be the starting quarterback. Now, you have to wonder if this thing lingers, and we've seen foot-ankle issues of players. You just mentioned Davenport, and, of course, now we're kind of tainted by Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure the Saints get this thing right, because Taysom's biggest asset, obviously, is his versatility, using him in different areas, and that's using his legs and his speed and his power. And so I think they're going to treat this very carefully, just because, A, they've invested in him, and B, they want to use him in that multifaceted role, because I just don't foresee him, and I know you don't foresee him being the quarterback as far as starting next year, regardless if he's healthy or not.
No, I don't. I'm trying to be respectful of the conversation, though, because a lot of people are asking the question. The Saints gave him a contract that at least leaves the door open. So let me just at least pose the question then. This is a guy that's 7-2 as a starting quarterback. Why isn't he going to be the guy in the future?
I just don't think he can win consistently as a pocket passer. He is not the most accurate passer in the league. Even just as far as decision-making, has he gotten better? Sure. I just think that Sean Payton knows he's got to basically scheme around things, and you have to lean on defense, and that's obviously been the recipe for the Saints to win games. And so I'm not going to say and try to kind of sully that he was a winning quarterback with the Saints. I get it, and he brings a certain aspect, but week in and week out, I don't think you can go win a Super Bowl with that guy, or maybe even win a division with that guy as your starting quarterback. You can win those things with him on the team, but not necessarily in my eyes as a starting quarterback.
I mean, look, you and I see eye to eye with that.
Right.
The question is, then what direction do they go? Is Jameis Winston the answer, or do you see a free agent? Because, Larry, we can agree, right? I mean, quarterback is the first question they have to answer going into next year. So is it Jameis, or do you see a free agent option?
I don't necessarily see a free agent option unless someone magically gets cut, like, I don't know, Kirk Cousins. But I can't see that. He's $35 million guaranteed. Like, you can't dump him. I just don't see a free agent option that's kind of lurking out there. So your option is to, A, roll the dice and sign Jameis Winston and lean on him and assume he's going to be healthy. B, trade for a guy, and those are some lofty expectations in terms of what another team is going to ask from the Saints and who's actually even available, despite the rumors and chatter that's going to happen throughout the offseason. Or C, go draft a guy. And who is ready-made to come in and play in the NFL right now? I don't know if there is totally a guy in college right now. And just look at this past draft. You thought guys could come in and play right away, and even Trevor Lawrence struggled. And even though Mac Jones is in the playoffs, it's not like they had to lean on him to be the guy to win big-time games for you. So I think all that is up in the air, and the Saints at least have a couple of months to try to figure this out, because by the time free agency comes, you've got to make a question whether you're going to dive in Jameis, make a trade, or if you kind of move past that, lean on the draft.
If they draft a quarterback, that would certainly be an indicator. I mean, I'm talking like in round one. That'd be an indicator that they're rebuilding, that they're playing for the future. Do you think that that's an option for this franchise to have a 3 to 5 year view instead of a win now view?
Well, let me look back at this past draft that I just mentioned, Mac Jones. I mean, they played him right away, and they didn't feel like it was a rebuild. They felt like he could come in and play, and it happened. Now, that's not the norm. I mean, you know it, I know it. That is not the norm. So I don't think even if they went that route, they would see it as a rebuild, because they probably feel like they've got enough pieces to the puzzle that can make this thing win. I mean, they won games with all kinds of different quarterbacks this year. Obviously not Ian Book and Trevor Siemian, but
right.
Guys who we could agree that you probably could use upgrades over, whether it's Jameis or Taysom. So here's the thing. It really depends on the Saints have to have a 150% conviction on a guy if they're going to go get him. Would that be Matt Corral? Would that be Kenny Pickett? I know you or me have a differing opinion on Kenny Pickett. I think he's better and might be able to come in and start right away for a team. Maybe not the Saints.
No.
But, like I said, we have differing opinions. Or do they go in round two and get Desmond Ridder or, someone like that, Malik Willis, so Sam Howell. I mean, those are the quarterbacks that we're talking about. I mean, I just need the top four, like Carson Strong from Nevada. I mean, those are basically the top 5 quarterbacks in this class, and none of them are like number 1, number 2. It's going to look nothing like that class from last year. And so I don't think the Saints ever look at themselves as a rebuild, because I think, here's the thing, I feel like if Sean Payton is looking at something and a Saints roster and says, man, we've got to rebuild, he might just walk.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever looking at anything as a rebuild. He's not tearing it down, and he's been at this long enough. He'd go do something else, go do TV, maybe get traded. Like, I'm not saying Sean Payton's leaving by any means, but I can't see him ever looking at something and be like, man, this is a total rebuild job.
Well, let me ask you the question then that everyone, I mean, it's every year. If it's not Dallas or the Giants, I mean, now it's the Raiders or the Bears. There's these conversations about Sean potentially leaving New Orleans. You have the floor. Any legitimacy potentially to any of that talk with Sean Payton?
I can't see any of it. I just think that he feels like that the Saints. Here's the thing: if Jameis Winston doesn't get hurt, they're probably in the playoffs, and we're not even having this conversation yet. So I think that he feels like this team can still win. And just as wacky as the NFL has been this year, I mean, you're not that far off. If you win a couple of games, you get in the postseason, all kinds of crazy things have happened. So I just don't see an opportunity out there where he would say, man, I really got to go make that happen. And just remember, the times we're talking about Sean Payton leaving, the franchise was not in good shape. And he was maybe saying, well, let's move on to something better and start fresh somewhere like the Rams or remember Indianapolis when they had Andrew Luck. Like, he was looking at certain spots. Like, he did not want to go to San Francisco at that time, even though they wanted him. So this is when the Saints were in the midst of 7-9. I don't think Sean Payton looks at it that way. And obviously the Saints are not getting rid of him by any chance at all.
Larry Holder, theathletic.com/New Orleans, on Twitter @Larry Holder. Y'all give him a follow. Check him out. All right, so what are the biggest free agent needs at this team? I mean, provided they get within cap compliance. What are the biggest free agent needs this team has to look at?
Well, part of it is it depends on if you let any of your guys walk. I mean, if you let Teron Armstead walk, obviously left tackle. If you let Marcus Williams walk, then it's safety. But let's just leave them out of the equation. Where do I think they need to upgrade? Wide receiver, I think, is got to be up there. I mean, who can you even point to? I'm sure you're ready to let Traquan Smith walk. He's a free agent, and I'm sure you're going to be telling him goodbye, adios.
Kick rocks.
You'll get him you won't even get him like an airplane like bottle of booze. I know you're not going to do it.
That guy, he can't win for trying. He has a beautiful touchdown catch, and he rips his helmet off. It's like, and I even tweeted, lay off of him. He's acting like he's never been there before because he's literally never been there before. He doesn't know how to react when he makes a great catch for a touchdown. Like, it's that atypical for him to do something positive. No, see you later. Gone.
Yeah, so that has to be something. But do you address that in free agency? A lot of times when you go spend big money on a wide receiver in free agency, A, another team doesn't want him on purpose, and B, it's a bust. Like, I can't remember a huge, high-priced wide receiver panning out in free agency. And so the Saints have typically stayed away. Just think of some of the free agent wide receivers they've got in the past. Ted Ginn didn't cost a ton of money. Emmanuel Sanders, they made that deal work. But obviously they had to cut him because of the way the cap went. And so how much do you want to be in that game? You would think they'd probably maybe look in the draft. And what do you do with Michael Thomas? I mean, that's another big question. So, but I think, look, wide receiver, even like tight end, I mean, how much of a disappointment was that? I'm wondering if someone like Mike Gesicki from Miami, I don't want to bring back shades of Kobe Fleener, but I think Gesicki would be really good in the Saints uniform, and the Saints could take advantage of him. But he's going to cost you a lot of money too. And so, I would look at maybe in those terms, wide receiver to me or a tight end. But it's hard to spend a ton of money when you still got to take care of your own house and you don't really know exactly who's going to be back as far as high-priced guys like Armstead, Marcus Williams. And, oh, by the way, you got to pay a quarterback.
Armstead and Williams, do you think either or both return?
I don't want to say guaranteed yes, but I'd be more surprised if they left, both of them.
Okay.
I just think that the Saints could figure something out. It's not like they don't value Marcus Williams. That they could give him a big deal and then backload it like they always do. Armstead, of course, is a risk, but they certainly really like the guy. When he's right, he's one of the best. But here's the thing. If some team blows the Saints out of the water, they are going to let him walk. I mean, they've let tackles walk in the past, specifically someone like Jermon Bushrod. He was coming off Pro Bowls. The Bears paid him a ton. They said, all right, we'll figure it out. Maybe somebody does that with him, and they try to figure it out and look to the draft. And they've certainly addressed offensive line needs in the draft. So I don't want to say for sure yes. I feel like both can return, but we've seen stranger things happen where people walk and they have to move on and life goes on. But look, it's a little bit. Thank goodness it's different than last offseason when there was shedding and it was crazy town. I think you can make this thing work, even though it looks a little daunting from the outside looking in. I'm sure pundits are going to be thinking, "Oh, here the Saints go again." I think they can make it work and have those two guys, but I think it depends on. They have to have a ceiling on how much they want to pay each of those guys.
Yeah. Well, last year was replacing Drew Brees and shedding $111 million in cap space. I mean, Larry, they still got to shed $60 million this year. So, I mean, we'll all get out our pens and papers and try to figure out how they're going to make this work. But they always seem to do, and put a competitive team out there. But it is it's going to be an uphill climb again this offseason. We'll follow along, theathletic.com/New Orleans. He's on Twitter at Larry Holder. Don't be a stranger this offseason. Let's do this some more, even though the season's over.
I agree. I say we start the hashtag now, trade for Trask. Let's do it. You knew I was going to fit that in there. You knew it.
I was surprised you didn't squeeze it in there earlier in the interview. But I think what you're seeing right now is just how big of a garbage player that he is. So
hard to beat Tom Brady out.
I would love to see him just stay. No, he should just stay there in Tampa. He should stay there in Tampa, become their starter, so Tampa has a decade of irrelevance after Tom leaves. I'd be for that.
It's so beautiful how much you just despise this guy. I
can't believe that you are hitching your wagon to Kyle Trask and Kenny Pickett when we've seen so many great quarterbacks in the league, and you see what the prototype of young guys coming out that have success, and Kyle Trask and Kenny Pickett are the two that you're stumping for. It's unbelievable.
I will say this. We can go into further detail next time I come on about Kenny Pickett, and we can debate this. I'm a believer in Kenny Pickett. I am.
Yeah, I'm sure you were a believer his first 5 years in college.
Joe Burrow had about 12 years in college, too, and had a huge year, and then look what he's done.
Joe Burrow had a great fifth year, emerging after his fourth year near the end, and physically is a much better prospect than Kenny Pickett. But we can have that conversation another time. In the meantime, thank you for your time. We'll talk next time.
All right, buddy. We'll talk about it next time. I'll make you a believer.
And we'll be on time. See you, Larry. Thank you.
See ya.
I was trying to see how many times I could say the word time at the end of that interview. All right, it is after further review. We'll knock out a quick break and wrap up hour number one next.
AFR.
Buying or selling a home, you know what to do. Call Darren James. Get your home sold. Call the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. Call Darren James. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Agent225.com. Darren James, you know, the number one complaint to the National Association of Realtors. Hired my realtor, stuck a sign in the yard, never heard from him again. With Darren, that'll never happen. I've literally been on the phone with Darren at 11 o'clock at night where he's at a listing. One of his listings, like changing a light bulb, just because it's something that had to be done. When you talk about customer service, when you talk about attention to detail, Darren goes above and beyond. That's why. When you just think about like outliers, how you end up in the top 1% of realtors in America, you got to be doing something different. That's Darren James. Experience it for yourself. Take all of the hassle out of the moving process. Need to sell your home? You need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're wrapping up hour number one. Greg Sankey talked about with Paul Feinbaum yesterday, expansion gone wrong in college football playoff. Get to that in a second. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Go for that hormone check. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Every one of us, as we age, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. So if you don't feel like your younger self, if you feel tired, if you don't build muscle when you get to the gym, you don't have the motivation to get to the gym, you don't sleep well at night, all of that could be reduced hormones. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. It's changed my life over the last 5 years. It could do the same for you. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Greg Sankey was a guest on the Paul Feinbaum show, and Sankey updated where expansion stands after yesterday's meetings failed to produce any type of policy to change the format of the college football playoff.
Well, if we made decisions just on popular opinion, we'd be done, because both at the time of announcement in June through the summer, I think the response from the media first was shock, and I think you and I had that conversation, like, wow, where did this come from? And then as we worked to explain the why, a lot of understanding, acceptance, doesn't mean there was ever the feeling it was going to be a rubber stamp. But not everyone feels that way. And so we were at meetings today, like we were at meetings December 1st, like we're at meetings November 3rd and 4th, like we're at meetings in late September talking through issues. And we've not been able to resolve the issues to secure the necessary votes to move forward. Either now, like in the short term, 24-25 season, or even right now in year 13. And I haven't seen the actual official statement. I was in a meeting, and then I was out of a meeting, and then I was back in a meeting, so I understand the destination as we've been assigned work and encouraged directly to move forward, but we're not there at this point.
It's interesting where he started, because you said if popular opinion were the case, we would have had this done, and he's right, because over the summer when we were at the we were at SC Media Days, this was a done deal, and then it wasn't when the Texas-Oklahoma SEC news broke. One more from Greg Sankey on Feinbaum. He did say that the SEC is willing to concede certain things.
What we as a conference have presented in this is an enormous give. And perhaps tactically, as I evaluate my own approach, we should have said we're not going to move off of 4. Not now, not ever. But that seems unwise for college football. And so that give up front was to really match the intent of the charge from the Board of Managers, which is to explore the possibility of a new format. That informs any frustration you may hear in my voice, as I think we made an enormous step, but we're here at the end not being able to get to a completion.
Think what he's saying. Understand what he's saying. The playoff era, the 4-team playoff, has been very good to the SEC. And effectively, what Greg Sankey's telling Paul Feinbaum there is just our willingness to move off of this format suggests we're willing to do what's good for all of college football, not just our league. And he's right. Just like the BCS, what did the SEC win? 7 straight BCS championships? It was a great format for the SEC, but it wasn't great for all of college football. He understands the need for an expanded playoff. The rest of the conference commissioners need to get on board as well. All right, Pelicans back on the hardwood tonight. Todd Graffagnini, radio voice of the Pels, joins us next.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
I'm Christine Lisi. Talks between Major League Baseball and the Players Association will resume after a month-long break. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports the sides plan to hold a bargaining session on Thursday. It'll be the first since the league locked out players December 2nd. A new labor deal is needed by early March in order for the season to start on time. NFL, the Bears have requested permission to interview Buccaneers offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich and defensive coordinator Todd Bowles and Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll for their head coaching vacancy. They also might look to talk to Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh. One thing would be key for Harbaugh in Chicago, says our Keyshawn Johnson.
It's about the control. Will they allow him to run the building? Which means that at Michigan, he's running the building. Will the Chicago Bears allow him to have full control like a John Gruden when he took over the Raiders? If Buck stops here.
Keyshawn of Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max. NHL, Penguins center Evgeny Malkin returns from knee surgery. He'll make his season debut tonight against the Ducks, 10 Eastern on ESPN+.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Matt?
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. A newly elected College Football Hall of Famer Kevin Faulk, 30 minutes from right now. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Christmas has come and gone, which means the NBA season has officially started. And so thought it was a great time to have the radio voice of the Pels, Todd Graffagnini, back on the show. Graff, great to have you, man. How are you?
I am wonderful, Matt. How are you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. So the season's a little more than a week old now since we're past Christmas. So I'm sure Zion's tearing it up. So tell me how Zion's doing here in the early going of the season.
Well, he hadn't played a game yet this year,
God,
Matt.
dog.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I will say this is very interesting that you say that the season just started. Funny, just looking at the schedule here and realizing we're game 41 tonight. We are literally
halfway
at the halfway point of the NBA season.
It's bonkers, man. Obviously, I kid. We had the ongoing joke here for a long time that it's just hard to start. I wish they would start the season on Christmas. I know it's a age-old argument, but the Saints season ended. College football ended last night. So a lot of people are going to start tuning into the Pels. And Graf, the crazy thing is, bad as they started, they've managed to pull themselves out of the cellar and win a game here or there. Pretend that nobody's watched any of the 41 games up to this point. Give me the synopsis of the first half.
Well, the first half of the first half, Matt, was very, very difficult. And a lot of that had to do with, injuries. Brandon Ingram specifically missed 7 games. We were not as healthy as we have been in the last month and a half, and it was very, very difficult to win ball games, especially when you're missing not only Zion, who was going to give you 25 points a game, but also Brandon Ingram, who was, locked in at 22 to 25 points a game. It's just very, very difficult because the Pelicans don't have the type of firepower that we see on a night in and night out basis. But since Ingram came back, and we've seen the emergence of Josh Hart now into a really threat offensively, because we always knew what he could do on the defensive end and what he had done rebounding. But Josh starting to score the basketball, get more aggressive offensively, has really turned this team around. And then, you've seen some of the role players step up their game, specifically the rookie Herb Jones, who has just been maybe one of the steals in the draft. I don't think you could even debate that right now. But you think about, Matt, you start 3-16 and you're going, all right, we're doing mock drafts here, talking lottery and this and that. And then it's kind of curious because the team we're playing tonight, the Minnesota Timberwolves, came into the Smoothie King Center on November 22nd, basically came in here and ran us out of the gym. It was 110-96. We turned the ball over 23 times. And Willie Green, who is not a very emotional guy, now he'll pick his spots, but he was absolutely displeased after the performance that night at home. And 2 days later, the Washington Wizards came in here and the Pelicans scored a season-high 127 points. And since that 3-16 start, Matt, the Pels are 11-10, which is pretty respectable. So I think a lot of it has to do with health, and a lot of it has to do with guys are playing very hard for this head coach, and the roles are really defined now as to who is starting and who's coming off the bench. A lot of continuity. It's
like you're looking at my notes. So I was going to ask you about Willie Green's outburst and what's changed since then. It was he was adamant, and it was a punch in the nose. So aside from rotations and roles, what's changed for this team since then?
Well, they're defending a lot better than they were very early in the season as well, Matt. And now, of course, you got a couple of outlier games. Of course, last week, the Pelicans played 2 of the top elite teams in the Western Conference, and in Phoenix and Utah, who just drain a bunch of threes, and it was very, very difficult to defend them. So that's going to happen in the NBA. But for the most part, it's been pretty consistent on the defensive end. And as I talked about earlier, the Pels, it's just very inconsistent on the offensive end. And when Brandon Ingram's not getting his 25 points a night, it's very difficult for them to win because you just don't know where the offense is going to come from a night in and night out basis. But when you're playing defense the way that the Pels have been playing in the last 21 games, you're going to give yourself a chance. If you look at the scores in the games that they've lost, they've pretty much been down to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. So they've kept themselves in ball games. It's just the consistency on the offense at times has hindered the Pels as far as finishing ball games.
A couple more minutes here with Todd Graffagnini, radio voice of the Pels. Of course, if you're listening on in New Orleans, our New Orleans affiliate, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans, you'll hear the game tonight. 7 o'clock is the tip, Pels and T-Wolves. Thumbnail on this game. What do they have to do to make it different from the last go-around, that blowout?
It's very simple, Matt. Don't turn the ball over. This is the 4th time we played the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Pelicans have turned the ball over 73 times. That would be a 7 and a 3 in the 3 games against Minnesota.
Well, let me write that down.
Yeah,
70.
Yeah,
right.
7.
Yeah.
Not 17 threes, 73. Yeah, that's where it's got to start, right there. Minnesota is 20-20, and their last 2 games, they have set a franchise record. They've scored 274 points in their last 2 games. They blew out Oklahoma City, and they blew out Houston 2 nights ago. They scored 141, which was 3 below their franchise record of 144. And just watching those games, it was like an all-star game. I mean, no defense whatsoever, just like a track meet, back and forth, back and forth. And the problem is if the Pelicans start turning the ball over like they have the first couple of games against these guys, it's going to be more of the same because they are absolutely athletic, especially with Anthony Edwards, who is having a fantastic season in his 3rd year, former first pick in the draft. out of Georgia, and it's just, Karl Anthony Towns scored 40 points 2 nights ago. They can score, and they've got a lot of guys that can do it. D'Angelo Russell as well is playing very good basketball for them. So number one priority tonight, do not turn the ball over.
They hit the halfway point of the season. Graff, before you go, what does this team have to do realistically? Third from the bottom right now, but also third from the 10th spot. What do they have to do to get
exactly?
What do they have to do to get into the play-in, which is realistic?
It is realistic, Matt. It really is. The thing that you have to do, and I've learned this now just being in the league a couple of years, we had a 4-game winning streak, during that stretch in mid-December. And, it's tough because that game in Oklahoma City, the game we were going for 5 in a row, that's the game Brandon Ingram came out early and with the Achilles soreness. Now, he has since come back. But if you can just put some wins together, if you string wins together, 3 wins, 4 wins in a row, 5 wins in a row, that's how you make up ground. What you have to do is avoid the 2, 3, 4-game losing streak. If you can, if you're going to lose one, you lose one. You've got to stop it from being a 2-game streak or a 3-game streak. That's how you make up ground in this league. And look, the Pels got through the hard part of the schedule. The Pels had the hardest schedule in the NBA during that 3-16 stretch, record-wise. So the schedule is really going to lighten up the rest of the way, and that's going to give them an opportunity to string some wins together, get on a winning streak, and that's how you get yourself into playoff contention. I'm not, again, full disclosure, I'm not a standings watcher just because, A, there's a lot of games left, and B, we're really not at that point yet. So I'm not really looking at the standings because you got to put yourself in a position, like a 3-game, 4-game, 5-game winning streak. Then you start looking at standings and see where you are.
Obligatory Zion question. Any update there?
No.
Okay.
No update. I mean, he's in Portland, and when he gets back, he gets back.
All right. Well, Pels play tonight, 7 o'clock tip. You'll hear it on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. Graff will be on the call. He's on Twitter at NTGraff. Y'all give him a follow. We appreciate it as always, man. Have a great call tonight. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, Matt. Anytime.
All right, man. We appreciate you. It is After Further Review, brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, title sponsor here of our Tuesday shows. Better coverage for less money. Give them a buzz at 293-0450. Look, you all know it. Our coverage of the Pels really doesn't actually begin in earnest until after football. And with the Saints season ending, with college football season ending last night, we'll start to pay more attention to it. It's just the nature of how it's going to work. And especially when you're talking about a team that's struggling the way that they are. But Graff's right. I mean, the first half was miserable. And they're a game over 500 since. So in their last 21 games, they're 11-10. So you replicate that in the second half, you're into that play-in tournament. You're playing for something. But I also understand why the disengagement has happened when you play that poorly and you don't have Zion and there's tough. It's tough to get excited about things. But they're going to have to win to generate that excitement around this franchise, this organization. See if they can do it in the second half. All right, it's After Further Review. Kevin Faulk in 15 minutes from right now. Newly elected College Football Hall of Famer. We'll look forward to that. College football did crown its national champion last night. So let's start looking ahead to 2022. Way too early, top 25, and Vegas national championship odds are out for next year. We'll talk about it next, AFR.
AFR.
Pinnacle Exterior Construction, 757-6138, 757-6138. Look for that Pinnacle green and call 757-6138. You want an outdoor kitchen? Pinnacle Exterior Construction can do that. Did it for me at my house. Want a custom pool? Pinnacle Exterior Construction can do that for you as well. Maybe Santa brought a dog and you need a fence. Pinnacle Exterior Construction can do that. 757-6138. Fences, decks, outdoor kitchens, custom pools, pergolas, bulkheads. They do it all. Turn your boring backyard into a showplace. Pinnacle Exterior Construction can help. You want that pool? You want to be swimming come spring? Call Pinnacle today. Get that ball rolling today. So when the weather's nice, get on the schedule now. So when the schedule's nice, you're done and you're swimming. PECbuilt.com to see pictures of their beautiful work. PECbuilt.com, or call our friends at Pinnacle Exterior Construction, 757-6138.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
You guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they are the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
2022 title odds here in just a second. Hey, remember mycleanliving.net. This segment brought to you by mycleanliving.net. COVID's everywhere. The Omicron variant, or whatever it's called, is everywhere. Listen, you want to protect yourself, your family, your coworkers against COVID and other viruses, mycleanliving.net. NASA technology inside of these air purifiers, clinically proven to eliminate the virus that causes COVID-19 and dozens of other pathogens. We have the Fresh Air Mobile in studio. Our whole building here has been outfitted with the Air and Surface Pro, which can purify up to 3,000 square feet. So if it's a school, a church, an office, your home or vehicle, learn more at mycleanliving.net, mycleanliving.net. You go to the website, the phone number at the top will get you the local rep, Jennifer, 413-2299. If you have questions, you want a demo, 413-2299 or mycleanliving.net. Let's knock this thing out, y'all. I mean, there's a way to do it. We can protect our spaces, mycleanliving.net. All right, y'all, college football playoff odds for next season are out. And Georgia, the defending national champion, not the odds-on favorite to win it next year. It's actually Alabama at 5-2. Georgia 9-2, Ohio State 7-1. What's really interesting is that not only, and those are odds are via Caesars, there's some other things that I want to delve into there, but ESPN put out their way too early top 25, and there's a pretty significant disparity here that I want to touch on. In their way too early top 25 for next year, Bama they have as number 1, which is no surprise, right? Bryce Young is going to be back. They're expecting 6 starters on offense, 7 on defense, 2 specialists as well. So Bama, ESPN projects as the preseason number 1 team. Ohio State, number 2. They're going to lose the wide receivers, but obviously they had some wide receivers emerge. C.J. Stroud will be back at quarterback. And then at 3 is where you find the defending national champ Georgia Bulldogs for 2022. And then the one that's going to anger a lot of you is they got Texas A&M preseason number 4. So believers in Jimbo right there. 10 starters returning, 5 offense, 5 defense. And then 5th, they've got the Michigan Wolverines, who made it into the college football playoff this year, but got pounded in the semifinal Orange Bowl against those Georgia Bulldogs that went on to win the national championship. Brian Kelly's former team, Notre Dame, they have at 6. Utah, NC State, Oklahoma State, and Michigan State rounding out the top 10. What's interesting is that there were 2 very notable omissions. 2 programs that have been at the top and front of these conversations for the last decade. Clemson, Oklahoma, not in the preseason top 10. They've got Clemson just on the outside looking at 11, and Oklahoma minus Lincoln Riley, and now obviously minus both Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams at 17. 17. The reason I pointed out that it was interesting is in the disparity is while ESPN's way too early top 25 has Clemson at 11, Oklahoma at 17, Las Vegas still sees value in Clemson and Oklahoma. After Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, the next 2 best odds to win the national championship next year, Clemson at 12-1, Oklahoma at 15-1. So they're not buying the fact that Clemson and OU are on their way out. They still play in weak conferences where if you win a Power 5 league, you're going to have a great chance to get in. And if you can't win it if you're not in. And so they're basically looking at Clemson and Oklahoma saying, all right, you 2 are the teams that have the best shot in your conference to win your league to get into the playoffs. So that's why most likely you see Clemson and Oklahoma there. Vegas has Michigan, Southern Cal. Big play on Lincoln Riley there on the upside at 20-1. Notre Dame at 25-1, and then Texas A&M at 25-1. So that's the other big disparity. ESPN has A&M 4th. Vegas has A&M with the 9th best odds at 25-1 right there neck and neck with Notre Dame. But it makes a lot of sense, right? In order to win the national championship, you got to go through the SEC West. So if you're A&M, you got to go through Bama and then through an SEC championship game likely against Georgia. So it's understandable why it's going to be more difficult for one of those teams to have better championship odds when that's the path that you have to follow to get through the SEC into the national championship. Of note here, with respect to this conversation, is that when you run through the rest of the top 25, there are 7 SEC teams ranked. None of them are the LSU Tigers. Bama 1, Georgia 3, A&M 4. Big gap. None after 4 until you find Arkansas at 20. Kentucky at 21. Ole Miss at 23. South Carolina rounding out the top 25. So there's a couple of ways to look at this. Number 1, half of the SEC they have ranked. 7 of the 14 teams they have ranked. And Florida, LSU, and Auburn are not among them. That certainly speaks to the strength of the league. To the guy, again, who's out there saying that the SEC is only Alabama or it's top-heavy, Alabama, Georgia. No, it ain't, brother. You got half the league ranked, and Auburn, Florida, LSU are not among those half-ranked. Now, State, Missouri, Tennessee, and Vandy are the other 4. I also I'm going to be very interested, like we mentioned, what happens with Clemson. I believe this is the test for Dabo and the sustainability. He loses both of his coordinators. We've gone over these numbers before when Brent Venables got the Oklahoma job. When you look at Dabo, his first few years there at Clemson were not great. Only when Brent Venables showed up did they start winning double-digit games every year and making the playoff. Brent Venables is gone now, and you're replacing your OC. Can Dabo, he promoted from within, how does that go? Is it seamless? If it is, Clemson's got Jimmys and Joes. They could certainly be right back in it. But we saw firsthand here at LSU what making the wrong hires at key staff spots does to a program like that. That's relying on your coordinators to be experts. So Clemson's going to be a fascinating test case this year. So too will Oklahoma. The aforementioned Brent Venables has left Clemson. He's back at Oklahoma, where he was the DC. Now he's the head coach. A guy who's almost 50 years old, who's a first-time head coach. How does this go? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the Mel Tucker example at Michigan State. Maybe it's a guy who just was waiting his turn, finally got it, and he's going to do exceptionally well. He's got to replace quarterback, going to replace a lot of players on that side of the ball. That's why Oklahoma's down at 17 in these rankings. But those two are going to be fascinating to watch. But it could very well open the door for other teams to make their emergence. If you ask me, do I think LSU, by the way, as far as the Vegas odds, Vegas does not give LSU championship odds among those ranked. I think there's 15 or so schools they listed that have championship odds. And down at the bottom is Baylor at 50-1. Even Florida has 40-1 odds, tied with same as Utah, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, Texas, Oregon, Cincinnati, all at 40-1. LSU not listed here. And a big part of that, very likely, is we have coaching staff turnover. We look at the roster turnover as well, coming off a 6-7 season. But LSU is not ranked here in the preseason top 25. And I don't suspect that when we get closer to the season and the actual preseason top 25 polls are out, I don't suspect LSU will be ranked. They shouldn't be. You're coming off a 6-7 season, and you played with 38 scholarship players in your bowl game, and you're turning over roughly half of your roster. You shouldn't be ranked. But LSU should, by the end of next season, be in this ranking. I don't know where they'll be, what their final record will be, but they should be among the top 25 teams. I don't care what the roster issues are. The reason you're paying Brian Kelly is you have those expectations. I'm not saying the expectation needs to be to win a national championship for year one, but you should finish with a winning record, a bowl team that has a winning record and is in the top 25 come the end of the 2022 season. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Really excited about this, man. Kevin Faulk's going to join us. We found out yesterday that he's been elected to the College Football Hall of Fame, and we're going to talk about with the former Tiger great about what that honor means to him. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Every single day, I tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. For years, every single day, I've told you to get better coverage for less money. Every single day, I've told you, stop overpaying to be underinsured. Is today the day you're actually going to take my advice? They're open for 33 more minutes, open till 5 o'clock. Y'all, this process could not be easier. I know sometimes when things sound too good to be true, they are. Well, that's the old adage. I mean this sincerely. You do not pay Insurance Network of Louisiana anything. You call them. They do the work. They go shop to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. If they can, great. You switch and save money. If they can't, at least you know you've got great coverage at a fair price. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana right now. Call them right now. Get the ball rolling. Well, I don't have my info. Doesn't matter. Just call them right now. Start that process. 293-0450. You will be so glad you did. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
How many kids had all eyes on 3 shaved in their head back in the middle 90s, all because of this guy? Kevin Faulk, named to the College Football Hall of Fame. At least we all found out yesterday. Turns out Kevin Faulk found out last week, but he was able to keep the secret. He's good enough to join us now for a couple of minutes. Kevin, let us be the latest to express our sincere congratulations, man. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. Appreciate it. It would never be new to me hearing that song before an interview.
I love it, dude. Hey, listen, whenever I go do interviews in other markets, they always play one of 2 songs. Louisiana Saturday Night or Call in Baton Rouge. You got the better deal of it, man. If you get to listen to All Eyes on Me and I got to hear Call in Baton Rouge or something about a one-eyed dog, like, own it, man. It's so good. You know what I mean?
Now, to that point now, those 2 songs are like, if you're a LSU fan, you're going to want to hear those 2 songs.
No, for sure. Like, that's my point, though, right? It's like it's the most I go on a radio station in Alabama, and it's like the most stereotypical thing in the world. But anyway.
Right. I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations. Was this ever a goal for you?
Never a goal. I think the accomplishment of making it to a certain point, that's your goal. But in the process, this is what happened.
At what point did you think this was realistic?
I'm not going to lie to you, 2016 maybe.
Okay.
Whenever it was the SEC honors that I was getting honored for. And somebody told me, like, in 10 more years or so, you're going to be up for this College Hall of Fame award. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And that was the first time I actually thought about it.
When if you go back to your playing days, I mean, when you came here, it was such a massive deal in '95. But was there a point during your career, maybe a game or a moment, maybe even your first game ever, the 95, the A&M game? Like, was there a moment where you thought, like, oh, yeah, I belong here?
That game.
Was there a play? Was there something you remember in it?
If I'm not mistaken, it was a 12-yard run to the left side. I ran out. I got pushed out of bounds, and after that, I knew I belonged.
To this day,
I don't remember much. I played a lot of football.
You know what? But it's interesting, Kev, because I interview a lot of guys, right? A lot of athletes, a lot of people played a lot of different sports, and I typically find that you've run across one of two types of people. People with like a photographic memory that remember every snap, every play, every down, every pitch, every at-bat, or people who remember more broad generalities. So, and I don't know that there's any good or bad or right or wrong, just kind of how athletes who play so much like you did, 13-year NFL career, how it goes. But even still this late, this long after your playing days are done, the most amazing thing to me is that the all-purpose yardage record still stands. Because we've had this wave of offensive football, yet that record has stood since 1998. Could you have ever foreseen that, especially now being a coach in the SEC as well, could you have foreseen that record standing this long?
Not at all. But then when you sit back and think about it a little more, you get an understanding about, how guys are fortunate enough to leave earlier now. A lot more guys are fortunate enough to leave earlier now. It don't matter if you've had 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of success. You have the opportunity to leave. And that's a credit to the guys, the players, the individuals that's playing the game. But, just to have it still withstanding now, it's an honor. But knowing that guys have a lot more opportunity to leave and go to the league more now.
Kevin Faulk's with us. You still got the purple pants? Well,
yes.
Good question.
Unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Now we got to pry a little deeper. So, all right, I've talked to Gabe Northern before, and he said that was his idea. Can you confirm or deny that?
Oh, it probably was.
Okay.
Probably was.
Now,
those.
Why didn't you like the purple pants?
Like I said earlier, down here we don't want change. We a lot more about tradition. And to change it up was kind of like, I don't know if we should do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we should do it. But you know how it goes.
Right.
If you take care of business, you ain't got to worry about it.
Purple pants, but you also had the white helmet, gold jersey, Independence Bowl against Notre Dame. Which alternate did you like better?
They both were awesome. They both were awesome.
All right, Kevin.
Well,
fan of the alternates. Okay, I've made the note now. If I'm going to mention a couple of games, I want you to give me what the first thing that pops in your mind whenever I say it. 1995 against Auburn.
Nerve. One of the first big games of my young career. Understood what SEC football was about that game.
1996 against Houston.
A lot of things. Wanting to prove people who I was because of the situation going into the game. Nobody really knew, like, the person, Kevin Faulk. They knew the football player, and then the incident happened, and now the person, Kevin Faulk, is in question. And then now I get, like, I'm able to play now. Okay, I'm going to show you the person, Kevin Faulk, is just like the football player, Kevin Faulk.
97 against Florida.
Wow. Total team effort. Could not be done without the team in general.
There weren't too many on-field team highlights in 1998, but y'all played some big games. What about that game against Georgia in 98?
Oh, awesome game. But that no game that year for me solidified like that season. It was the games itself and the guys on the team. Nobody would know this outside of the guys that was on the team, but we never gave up, no matter how bad we was that year. We never packed it in, no matter how bad we was that year. We played football every Saturday. We might have lost the game, but we grinded. And for that team, that for me, people are like, wow, you probably regret your senior year. No, I don't. Nah, at all. We came closer my senior year as a football team.
How much would it mean to you if LSU retired your number 3?
That's how much. The silence. I don't talk a whole lot. I don't say a whole lot. I just sit back, observe, and try to understand certain situations. Now, I was talking to me and my wife went to lunch with a bunch of former employees today, and we were talking about that exact thing right there. As far as me, jersey retirement, I was thinking about it because it was brought up yesterday in a tweet about retiring my jersey, and I'm like, that's not nothing I need to get into. That's for other people to talk about, because everything that I've done as a football player, as a person, is already what can be done for it to get done. So I hope it does. But you know how it goes, man. You play your role and shut your mouth. That's what I was taught a long time ago.
Hey, man, first time I interviewed you was you've done a million interviews. You won't remember, but it was 2007. And I brought that up to you, was it 14 years ago? And I'm still asking you the same question now. And I think it's at least 14 years overdue. And I think it will happen. And I'm looking forward to the day, as many LSU fans are. Last thing, you did a press conference earlier today. You became emotional during it. And I think everyone knows what you and your family have gone through this year. It's been a very impossible year. But something you said near the end of the press conference, I'd like for you to maybe elaborate on here for our audience that maybe missed it, which was how much LSU means to you. How much does LSU mean to you?
It's funny you asked that question. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or discredit anybody, but look what happened to me, and I'm still screaming forever LSU. That's how much it means to me. That's how much it means to me, no matter what. People ask me right now, do you hate LSU? Nah. I'm not going to hate LSU. Everybody at LSU is not the person that did what they did. So that's how much LSU means to me.
Man, 25 years later, all eyes still on 3. People here love you and always will. Congratulations on a much-deserved honor. Everyone's going to celebrate with you. Enshrinement's going to be in December. Is that correct?
Right, in December. I don't think they have the location yet. From my information, that it usually is in New York, but they had it in Vegas last year because of the pandemic, but they're trying to move it back. So I don't know where it is, but I'm just looking forward to the year because there's a lot of activity that's supposed to be going forward throughout the course of the year.
Hey, man, there's going to be a lot of people here cheering you along the way, all the way to the Hall of Fame, man. Again, our congrats. We always appreciate a couple of minutes. You're always very generous with your time. It's great to talk. We'll do it again soon, okay?
I appreciate it, man. Look, I have to mention this one person's name before I forget, because when I got out of the interview, my wife told my butt up.
Okay.
Told my butt up. It was mentioned about our running back group, about Kendall Cleveland, Rondell Mealy, Cecil Collins, and me. And they was about to forget about Kendall, and I brought Kendall's name up, but my wife made me remember about our fullback, Anthony Skinner, who is like a major part of our group, a person that keeps the whole group together whenever we need to get together outside of football as far as well right now. And I just had to say his name because he's more than a brother to me.
Glad you did, man. All great former Tigers. All looking forward to celebrating with you, man. Congrats again. We'll talk soon.
I appreciate y'all, man. Have a good one.
you do the same. It's Kevin Faulk, the great Kevin Faulk, the Hall of Famer Kevin Faulk. Spending a couple of minutes with us here. I want to react to that a little bit. Muse Live Tigers and the pros. Glad you're hanging out with us here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. That's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, where they are expanding healthcare in the greater Baton Rouge area. brgeneral.org. They got the Bluebonnet location, the Mid-City location, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, Express Care location. So if you need a COVID test or you got the sniffles and just need to get checked out quickly, you can always pop into one of the Express Care locations, including the one right there on Nicholson across from Tiger Stadium. Learn more at brgeneral.org. Find that location at brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Mayo Clinic, one of the foremost medical facilities in the world. And as a part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, the Baton Rouge General Hospital, your physicians here get clinical collaboration, expert access to the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. That's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
6G. Network.
And our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Told y'all a few weeks back Got my fender bender up on the bridge. His full-size truck was totaled. My Volkswagen was not. The Atlas 3-row 7-seater family SUV. I'm telling you, drive one of the safest vehicles on the road. Stylish, luxurious, manufactured in the USA, affordable. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Thanks so much to Kevin Faulk for joining us. Just awesome. Robert Barkley texts the show. Great interview with number 3. Great questions. People love Kevin Faulk. They always will. He's just a Jay Rika just texted. He said, Kevin brought back the magic. I know it's stupid, but I'm emotional about that interview. And said LSU needs to fix this. You know, I don't know to what end you're talking about, you know, maybe having Kevin Faulk back associated with the program, whatever. Maybe I would 100% be for that, of course. But Brian Kelly also has the autonomy to hire a staff. And I think any coach should have that autonomy. But I also agree, and I know many of you were not happy about a month ago or whatever, when Ryan Clark was here and mentioned that. It wasn't so much that they moved on, but how they moved on. And I think that's the part that stung. And you heard it in Kevin's voice. But at the same time, dude's always going to love LSU. And I've said this so many times about this state, this culture, the people here. Our culture is so different, but we embrace it. We're from here, but we love it. And if you wrap your arms around us, we will defend our culture to the end of time. But if you wrap your arms around us and give us a bear hug, man, we will hug you back like you've never known before. And you see it with people like Drew Brees who come and stay. Steve Gleason. Kevin Faulk's from Lafayette, but man, is there anybody whose blood runs deeper purple and gold than that guy who you just heard from? Yeah, that's the guy you love, that he's a representative of your program, because he loves everything about your program, especially in the day and age right now, what's happening, where it is less about the love of the program and the pageantry. It's about using that program to get to where you want to be and what your goals are. It's changed so much so rapidly. And Kevin Faulk is a reminder of what it was. And I salute him. Okay, it's after further review. Amuso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
NFL Wildcard Weekend, that kicks off on Saturday. First game, Raiders at the Bengals. An injury report look there. Joe Burrow been dealing with that knee. He's been playing, but still listed on the injury report as a full participant with that knee. So all signs a go for Joey B. For the Raiders, Foster Moreau dealing with an abdomen/ankle. He's still listed on the Vegas Raiders injury report, but as a full participant. So great news there for the two of the former Tigers in that game who are on the injury report. All signs go here on a Tuesday ahead of game week. NBA action last night, a little LSU versus LSU action. The Nets visited the Trailblazers. Cam Thomas for the Brooklyn Nets last night, 26 minutes off the bench, 8 of 12 from the floor, 4 of 7 from 3, a career high 21 points for Cam Thomas, 3 rebounds and 3 steals to round out the night.
Oh, so he can score still?
He can still score. Yeah. In fact, I don't know if you saw this.
Got it.
I believe it was Saturday. Cam Thomas had the game-winning shot for the Nets.
Oh, I don't say.
With about 1.3 seconds left on the clock, starting to get some run there with the Nets is Cam Thomas. He was facing the Blazers, which means he was facing Trendon Watford, former teammate at LSU. 14 minutes off the bench for Watford, 2 of 3 from the floor for 4 points, added 6 rebounds and a block. Watford's Blazers beat Thomas's Nets 114-108.
Didn't they say Watford should have come back too?
Yeah, that was a thing as well. Yeah. I mean, look, it'd have been 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe.
Probably not, though.
No.
No. Speaking of the guy they said should come back, Naz Reid will be in action tonight against the Pels.
In the blender.
Timberwolves at Pels. Naz Reid, 37 games so far in the season. He's averaging 9 and 4. Garrett Temple will be out there for the Pels. 38 games for Temple on the year, and he is averaging 6 and 3. Catch up on how their nights go tomorrow. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Give her the gift in the little red box, gentlemen. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Certainly, if you want a diamond that will thrill her, that will sparkle, impress her friends, make you the hero, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry can certainly help. lmfj.com. No matter your budget, no matter what you're looking for, you will always, always, always get the Lee Michaels experience. They do a magnificent job of creating buying atmosphere so you feel comfortable. Let's be real, guys. It's an uncomfortable thing. We're not diamond experts. We don't know what we're looking for generally. They are, and they have been for 40 years in our area, locally owned and operated. Of course, Lee Michaels has 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and even outside of Louisiana. So find the location near you at lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LSU learned today that 2 more players have entered the transfer portal. Alex Adams, wide receiver, and Dwight McGlothern, cornerback. And that one stings. We'll delve into, when we come back right after SportsCenter, how the wide receiver room looks. Now they're down another receiver, and how the cornerback room looks with McGlothern looking elsewhere. That is taking a beating right now, that room is. So we'll get into all that. Also, next hour, Jeff Ireland. He looks like he's interviewing for the GM job with the Bears. What does that mean for the Saints moving forward? A ton to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
I love telling you about Michele Weighing and Measurement because since 1947, celebrating 75 years. 75 years. Michele Weighing and Measurement, locally owned and operated, our nation's leader in scale, distribution, but they do so much else, like calibration. I tell you all the time, well, like humidity calibration. They do that as well. If you need a humidity measurement calibration device or to calibrate your devices, they can help with that. With a wide range of other precision measurement equipment. Learn more. Go to their website at michele.com. Michele.com. Check them out online at michele.com for Michele Weighing and Measurement. So many people start there at the website and they go, I didn't realize you did that. And then they check out the website and see all the different services and products that they offer there at Michele Weighing and Measurement. Michele Weighing and Measurement, 75 years strong. Check them out online at michele.com.
Thinking about a new car for the new year? Come to Corval Toyota in Opelousas to pre-order your next vehicle. It's an easy process, and Toyotas are getting to our lot weekly. Make the decision now. Come on down to Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking NFL news, the Joe Judge era with the Giants is over. The team has fired Judge after only 2 seasons. His 10-23 record is the second worst in the franchise's modern history for any Giants coach with at least 1 season at the helm. The team had no choice but to dismiss Judge, points out our Dan Orlovsky.
I think that what happened over the last month for the New York Giants was embarrassing, and the way he's handled the press conferences and the way he's handled the play on the field is unacceptable. This is New York Giants. This is the New York Giants.
Dan Orlovsky on Canty and Golick Jr. New York also needs a GM after Dave Gettleman's retirement. Much more on this story with Chris and Mike coming up after this Sports Center. The expectation of the Browns is that Baker Mayfield will be their starting quarterback in 2022 and that he'll bounce back after struggling through an injury-plagued season, according to GM Andrew Berry. Mayfield is having shoulder surgery next Wednesday. Major League Baseball and the Players Union plan on Thursday to hold their first bargaining session since players were locked out by the league December 2nd. NHL Islanders coach Barry Trotz placed in COVID protocols.
And if I'm Brian Flores, damn right I'm kicking the tires, trying to figure out what the situation is and if he.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Wednesday, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomlin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Get some Saints talking about 15 minutes. Jeff Ireland looks like he's interviewing for the Chicago Bears GM job. Some roster additions for the Saints as well. We'll get to all that here shortly. Georgia is the national championship. We'll circle back to that. And Will Wade met with the media earlier today as the team is departed for Gainesville. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk some LSU hoop. Another day has brought a few more defections to the LSU football program, a wide receiver and a cornerback. The cornerback is Dwight McGlothern. We'll get to that in a moment. The wide receiver is Alex Adams. Not only has Alex Adams entered the transfer portal, but he has now put out publicly that he is committed to Akron, where they are now coached by Joe Moorhead, who recruited him when Joe Moorhead was at Mississippi State. You might remember that Alex Adams is from Mississippi, big 6'2", 200-pound wide receiver. Signed with LSU in 2020, only had a couple of catches in his career. And in a log jam at that position, he's seeking other opportunity. And you can kind of understand it. We talk about it often here. If you get to your third year of college and you haven't really, at a place like LSU, and you haven't thrust yourself into a rotation, it's probably not going to happen for you because now 2 cycles of players have come behind you and are going to get those opportunities. We've seen that with Adams at receiver, especially this past year where you saw the freshman breakout, where you saw Besh and Neighbors and Thomas and even Deion Smith, who's transferred out of here. And we just saw Chris Hilton pop off with the big 81-yard catch and run in the bowl game. So it makes sense if you're not part of that rotation yet that you're going to seek greener pastures and a better opportunity. So that happened for Alex Adams now as he's out. And I don't quite blame him, but when you look at the receiver group for this coming season, well, there's just a lot of reason to be optimistic about it. Most notably, of course, is because you get Kayshon Boutte back. And incredibly, despite missing the final 6 regular season games and the bowl game, despite missing 7 games, Kayshon Boutte still led this team in receiving with 509 yards. Jeray Jenkins was nipping at his heels at 502, and Besh had 489. Boutte also led LSU with 9 receiving touchdowns, despite playing in just 6 games, or 5.5 games. So, yes, having Kayshon Boutte back is massive. The LSU offense fundamentally changed after the Kentucky game. When he got hurt, they had the big game against Florida running the ball, and then after that, you just saw the offense production, the scoring production, cut in half week by week. And it was just, it was evident. They were not the same without Kayshon Boutte. So you get Boutte back. Jeray Jenkins, we're all assuming at this point he's going to return for his senior season. Jack Besh, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Your top 5 receivers from this season are all back. Boutte, Jenkins, Besh, Neighbors, Thomas. Your top 5 are all back. Next is Trey Palmer, Deion Smith. They've obviously transferred. Then Devontae Lee, who's also likely back. And then Chris Hilton. So you're good there. You're good at receiver. You've got enough options. You've got enough depth. And we saw firsthand in this postseason with schools like Ohio State and Alabama the value of having depth at receiver. In the Rose Bowl, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave opt out, not to mention the fact that Jamison Williams is playing for Alabama. What did Ohio State do? NBD. The kid JSN and Marvin Harrison's kid go out there and they set records in the Rose Bowl. They had great depth at receiver. Flip side, look what happened at Alabama. You lose Jamison Williams as a transfer. I'm sorry. You lose John Mechie to injury. You lose Jamison Williams to injury in the national championship game. And you had dudes that were dropping dimes in their hands in the championship game last night. It was just very obvious. That affected Alabama intensely, losing those 2 weapons on the field. It fundamentally changed their offense and their game plan and their ability to try to stretch the field and do the things they did so well in the SEC championship game. You take those guys off the field, it just changed. It completely changed the offensive approach for Alabama. So, yes, having depth at wide receiver is a fantastic situation for LSU going into this year offensively. As for Adams, big wide receiver, just got caught in the depth shuffle like we talked about. But your top 5 wide receivers turn. I'll point this out as well. Plus, Chris Hilton likely takes a step forward this year. Do you add any receiver transfers? They've made some offers. And keep this in mind. If you're just looking at Mike Denbrock, who was the OC at Cincinnati this past year, his top 4 pass catchers were receivers. Among the top, they had 7 with double-digit receptions. 2 were tight ends, 1 running back. So 5 of them were receivers. And the top 4 were wide receivers. So he will, in his offense, spread the ball around to wide receivers, not just dinging and dunking to tight ends or to running backs. So yes, all those guys I just mentioned will all have a chance to be involved in this offense. So you wish Alex Adams well, but it makes sense that he's leaving. LSU should be set there at receiver. I want to talk about cornerback in just a quick second. Quick reminder, Hudco Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. And maybe I should start being more vocal about this. I assume everyone knows. But last year when I joined Hudco, I joined as a partner. I don't just endorse HUDCO. I'm an equity partner in the business as well with Terrio and with Richard Tilley. So I'm thrilled to be able to say do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Ryan Terrio. If you have something, you can email me directly if you want. Matt@HUDCOroofing.com. But if you need a roof repair, need a roof replacement, we can now soft wash your roof as well. Give us a shout. 364-1007. Call right now. 364-1007. We even forward the phones from the office to multiple cell phones as well, so that way there's a better chance of always getting a human being answering the phone. 364-1007 or HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. The really disappointing news on Tuesday for LSU is that Dwight McGlothern has entered the transfer portal. Matt Zenitz of On3 Sports was the first to report it. McGlothern hasn't come out and said it, hasn't confirmed it, but if your name's in the portal, you're in the portal. There's no way around it. This one is terrible news. Dwight McGlothern is supposed to be next for LSU. And, man, if you look throughout the years, LSU has always had the next guy at cornerback. They've always had whoever was next. Even if you go back to Patrick Peterson or, from Patrick Peterson to Morris Claiborne to Thorold Simon to guys like Tre'Davious White and Dante Jackson and Christian Fulton and Derek Stingley and Elias Ricks and Dwight McGlothern, you always had the guy that was supposed to be next. Because DBU has just built that pipeline, and they've just continued to just pump talent through that pipeline. And Dwight McGlothern was supposed to be next there for LSU, especially considering what's happened with the exodus of Derek Stingley going to the league and with Elias Ricks transferring out and with Cordell Flott leaving. So you look at where LSU is right now at cornerback, and there's no other way to say it, y'all. They are dangerously thin at that spot. The spot which has become synonymous with LSU, DBU, they are now dangerously thin at cornerback. DBU is going to be tested in a big way in 2022. Stingley, gone. Ricks, portal, Bama. Flott going to the pros. McGlothern, portal. We'll see where he lands. I got some thoughts on that in a second. But your top 4 cornerbacks are gone, which means you're left with 2 guys. You've got Demarius McGee and Raydarius Jones. That's it. That's it. Those are your returning scholarship cornerbacks. Demarius McGee and Raydarius Jones. That's it. Now, you signed Jordan Allen and LaTerrence Welsh in this signing class. But I'm not so sure you're aching to thrust true freshmen out there onto the field right away in big spots. We have talked so much about Brian Kelly's need to use the transfer portal in this cycle. And there is no spot bigger now than cornerback. I would have told you linebacker, offensive line. Well, they already got Miles Frazier on the offensive line. They signed Will Campbell. They signed Emory Jones. They signed Fitzgerald West. They signed Bo Bordelon. You get a bunch of guys back that got experience. They can figure it out because you got numbers on the offensive line. And at linebacker, maybe if Mike Jones returns, it's a chance for him to step up. Yes, you're losing Damone Clark and Micah Baskerville, but you got Greg Penn, and you got guys that are scholarship guys that give numbers that just have to take a step up. Could you supplement in the portal? Absolutely. It'd be great if you did. But where you are desperate now, like you don't even have a choice but to go target transfers in the portal, is at cornerback. Because you got 2 guys. That's it. You have 2. And then 2 incoming freshmen. You don't have numbers. Not only do you not have experience or talent, you don't have numbers right now. You like offensive line, maybe you don't have a ton of experience. Maybe you're betting on the come with some of these guys, but you got numbers. You don't at cornerback right now. And look, there's people who mentioned Greg Brooks, who's a Louisiana guy, who's been a starter at Arkansas. Maybe LSU's a front runner for a guy like Greg Brooks. That would be great. UL Lafayette's Mekhi Gardner's in the portal. guy that potentially comes over. Or maybe he goes to Florida to follow Billy Napier. There were some of you who immediately pointed out when McGlothern entered the portal, like, well, let me guess, Bama. He's going to Bama or Georgia. Keep in mind, there's two other schools in the SEC that make a lot of sense. One is Texas A&M, because Texas A&M, we know, is doling out NIL cash, and McGlothern's from Texas, from Spring, Texas. So it would make sense if he ended up closer to home. The other is Florida. It would make sense if he goes to Florida, because Corey Raymond's there. And they just lost Kyrie Elam to the draft. Like, he could go to Florida and be Florida's number one cornerback this year and follow the guy who recruited him here in Corey Raymond. So I know there were some that tried to downplay the Raymond news, but this is all part of it. And again, Brian Kelly has full autonomy to hire whoever he wants. I want to be very clear about that. But I said it when Corey left. If you think you're not going to lose players because of that, you're naive. And Ricks, McGlothern, it's part of it. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but it's part of it. It's an undeniable part of that. Man, but I'll look at McGlothern and look. You just go look at his Twitter. The turnover at LSU has affected him. When Elias Ricks announced his transfer, remember McGlothern went and tweeted Ricks and says, we were going to be great together. And then LaTerrence Welsh came from behind and was like, well, let's us go be great together. I love that from LaTerrence Welsh. I don't love McGlothern's no response. When Austin Thomas tweeted his farewell a few days ago, McGlothern tweeted Austin Thomas and said, man, you'll be missed, Aus. I remember when you first offered me my freshman year, you made my dream come true. We have a strong bond. Thank you for everything. This hurts, with a crying emoji, or nose blowing crying emoji. Wasn't just Austin Thomas. I mean, there have been other staffers who have been let go, and I'm not talking about on field. I'm talking like recruiting staff and a lot of people in football ops. McGlothern tweeted another one. Said, crazy. We will miss you. Like, go look at his social media. This dude's been emotional. Like, he has not handled the transition well. He has not handled the transition of this coaching staff and this support staff being out well. He hasn't. So this maybe shouldn't come as a tremendous surprise, but man, does it suck. Because that dude is a stud who was the next great one. Started 6 of the 17 games he played. When Stingley went down this year, he stepped in and didn't miss a beat. And that guy was going to be your number one corner next year alongside, with Elias Ricks going. But Ricks and McGlothern looked like they would be an awesome 1-2 punch. And now they're both gone. And Flott's gone. And you are paper thin on numbers. So I don't know where else Brian Kelly's targeting, what other players Brian Kelly's targeting, but that position, undeniable right now, is number one atop the board because you have 2 scholarship cornerbacks currently on your roster. Thank God for the portal. Otherwise, you'd be in a giant world of hurt. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break. Jeff Ireland. Or his days in New Orleans over. Talk about it next. AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Pluckers. Nicholson and Bluebonnet dine in or carry out every Tuesday. Kids eat free at Pluckers. So great chance to get the whole family out tonight for a night out at Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall, Louisiana. Pelicans play tonight. They'll tip at 7 o'clock. So kids eat free. Watch some Pelicans basketball. Watch some college basketball. Eat wings. Hey, listen, maybe you want to go play some trivia. Sports trivia every the Nicholson location, hosted by Hunt Palmer, 8:30. So get your team together. 5 rounds, live action trivia. No limit on the number of people on your team. So get a group together, go play some trivia, watch some NBA, eat some wings, drink some beer, win some Pluckers gift cards. Make a night of it. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar and sports on TV. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they are the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Sean Payton met with the media on Monday, putting a button on the 2021 NFL season and the Saints season, which ended prematurely for in the minds of many of us. They finished above 500 but didn't get the help they need, as we all know. Payton tried to define this team and how it all wrapped up for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that's something that you find out about really when guys have adversity. It's one of the things we look for when we're putting a team together, the makeup and toughness and grit, if you will. And I think it serves you well, not necessarily when you're winning, but it serves you well when you have to overcome some adversity. And I think clearly that would be a trait I would describe of this team.
They overcame a ton of adversity, as we all know. They used more starting players than any team in the history of the NFL, and as a result of their success, usually when you have successful organizations, staff members get poached. Sean Payton was asked if he expected staff members to have other opportunities.
Yeah, look, I think that comes with success, and I think it's a positive thing, and hopefully that happens again for guys get opportunities. But I think that's part of the deal, and there's certainly change every year.
Aaron Glenn, of course, Dan Campbell, we saw go to Detroit a year ago. He's right. Every year it does happen. A lot of people are asking about Dennis Allen. Could he be in line maybe for another head coaching job? Doesn't seem that way so far anyway. No reports yet of Dennis Allen getting looks for a head coaching opportunity. What we have seen, however, is Jeff Ireland is being called upon now. The Bears are requesting an interview with Jeff Ireland for their vacant GM job. Of course, they just fired Ryan Pace, who went to Chicago from New Orleans. But Chicago apparently just continuously trying to recreate what has been done here in New Orleans. And the thing about Ireland, and it's just undeniable, Jeff Ireland was hired back in January of 2015. And when he was hired, previously been the GM of the Dolphins from 2008 to 2013. And when he came to New Orleans, his focus was on college scouting. That was his emphasis. So a lot of the Saints' draft successes, people have attributed to Jeff Ireland. Now, I'm not going to tell you that Jeff Ireland gets all the credit for the draft success that the Saints have had since 2015. But it's also undeniable that Jeff Ireland has reshaped the college scouting operation for New Orleans. I mean, let me remind you that the year before Jeff Ireland showed up, the 2014 draft, Brandon Cooks, Stanley Jean-Baptiste might be the worst draft pick in the history of the Saints. Kyrie Fort, Vinny Sunseri, Ronald Powell, Tavon Rooks. You want to know why the Saints had back-to-back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons? Because their draft stunk! It's when I started the Island of Misfit Toys bit. They bombed on every draft pick and every free agent signee. Starting with that safety that they overpaid. What was his name, Muse? Look it up. I am so scarred by that. The guy from Buffalo, that they made the richest safety in the history of the league. I'm so scarred by that, I forgot his damn name. Paul, do you remember? What is it? Huh? Jarris Bird. I'm going to start asking Paul questions, Muse. Never mind. Jarris Bird. I'm so scarred by Jarris Bird. I've blocked that dude's name out of my mind. The freaking Island of Misfit Toys bit. Kobe Fleener came. You all know. And then I rolled through all these names. Stanley Jean-Baptiste. Anyway. In 2015, that was Ireland's first year here. Now, granted, he was here for a few months before the draft, so I don't let you fully pin this on him. But that draft was Pete and Stephon Anthony were your 2 first-round picks. Haoli Kikaha, Garrett Grayson, P.J. Williams, Davis Tull, Tyler Davison, Damian Swan, and Marcus Murphy. That was a turd on a plate. But since then, they've come up aces. Sheldon Rankins, Michael Thomas, Von Bell, David Onyemata, Daniel Lasco. That was the first full year when Ireland was the director of college scouting for this team. And then 2017 is arguably the greatest draft they've ever had. Lattimore, Ramchick, Marcus Williams, Alvin Kamara, Alex Anzalone, Trey Hendrickson, and Al-Qadim Muhammad. I mean, that's one of the 2 best drafts in the history of the franchise. And even when they've had down drafts, they've still found hits. In 2018, Marcus Davenport, of course, they took in round 1. When he's been healthy, he's been awesome. Traquan Smith has been a disappointment. The middle of that draft, Rick Leonard, Natrell Jamerson, Cameron Moore, no bueno. But at the bottom, Boston Scott in the 6th round, Will Clapp in the 7th. Boston Scott isn't with you anymore, but he's still in the NFL. And Will Clapp, as a 7th-round pick, is still playing significantly for you. 2019, Eric McCoy, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Saquon Hampton, Alize Mack, Caden Ellis. Every one of those guys is still in the NFL. Now, the 2020 draft, you only drafted 4 players, and that's not looking so hot. Ruiz, Bond, Troutman, and Stevens. But you bounce back this year. Peyton Turner, let's see him healthy. Pete Werner, when Quan was injured, stepped in admirably. Paulson Adebo became a starter as a rookie 3rd-round pick. Ian Book, you took a chance. We get it. Landon Young played for you this year after injury. And then Quan Baker, 7th-round pick receiver. Spent the bulk of the season on the practice squad. Is going to be back with New Orleans next year. The reality is Jeff Ireland isn't going to stay in New Orleans in that role forever. You'd love it if he did, but in the NFL, if you have success, you get better opportunities, and he's going to get one. He's going to get an opportunity to be a GM again, and he'll probably take a lot of what he learned from Mickey Loomis and being part of a winning organization to wherever he goes next. My hope is whatever he did so successfully here is rubbed off on who will remain in that department in college scouting, and that this trend will continue, because this is how you build the core of a football team. It's not through free agency, it's through the draft, because you can have great players on rookie deals, which allows you the financial flexibility to go sign free agents and not get so backwards with how the Saints have been. So it's not a done deal. Ireland's going to be interviewed for the GM job in Chicago, but they'd be dumb not to hire him at this point. Speaking of Kwan Baker, the Saints have signed 8 practice squad players to reserve future contracts, and Baker's one of them. A bunch of guys that we saw in that game against Miami out of necessity. Linebacker Sharif Finch is one of them who played. Braxton Hoyt was another. Dylan Mabin. Freeman, he didn't get into a game. Jordan Miller did. Kavari Russell did. Aesop Winston did. Whenever we saw Deontay Harris serve his 3-game suspension, we saw Winston take over punt return duties there. So, and the other one, by the way, she mentioned is Gerald Hawkins, former LSU tackle Gerald Hawkins, who's bounced around the league a little bit. Pittsburgh, Tampa, Houston, New England. The Saints have signed him to a reserve future contract as well. So he'll be part of the 90-man roster when the offseason work begins. So the 2022 roster begins to be constructed now, and some of the names that at least will be there at the beginning, some familiar names as well. Will Jeff Ireland be? We'll find out in due time, but Jeff Ireland's getting an interview with the Bears for their GM job. Okay, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com, 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Make your home more energy efficient. And remember, when you call Relief Windows, they will never take $1 from you until you are thrilled with the work that they do. It's Relief Windows. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Let's see. Well, I got a quick break, y'all. When we come back, Will Wade met with the media earlier today, just before the Tigers were wheels up to Gainesville. They take on the Gators tomorrow at the Exacta Tech Arena, formerly the O'Connell Center. What do the Tigers have to do to move to 3-1 in conference play? We'll let you hear from the head coach of the Tigers when we return on AFR.
AFR.
So I always tell you, if you're looking for dinner plans tonight, Ichiban's a great option. But tonight, Ichiban is not an option for you, because Ichiban is closed tonight, as is Bo Rue in Electric Depot on Government Street. They're closed. They didn't get to have a holiday party for their team members before the holiday, so they're doing that tonight. So Ichiban and Bo Rue are both closed tonight, but don't worry. They'll be back open tomorrow. So maybe start thinking about lunch tomorrow. Maybe you're having a client lunch. If you need something fast, 45 minutes in and out for lunch. From the time you walk in the door, sit, order, eat, pay, out the door, 45 minutes. So if you have an hour for lunch, think Ichiban. Same with Bo Rue. Maybe if you work downtown or in the mid-city area and you're looking for a different option, give Bo Rue a try. Bo Rue Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. It is fast, casual, affordable. You walk in, you order at the kiosk, it gets your food lickety-split. Again, affordable, fast, casual, delicious. It's Bo Rue Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. Ichiban and Bo Rue, both closed tonight, but check them out tomorrow. Ichiban and Bo Rue.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. I got a 10 in my hand and a green in my eye. I'm a low-down gangster set tripping bank. Whatever, Muso. What you know about Coolio, bro? Dangerous Minds. Don't get it twisted.
Good song, man. Like it.
Never will I live to see 24 the way this life is going. I don't know. Hit it, Muse. Your turn. Drop a bar.
I'm good, thanks.
All right.
Maybe next time.
Paul, hit it. Hit it, Paulie. Get it, Paulie.
I'm good. Maybe next time.
Put the camera on you two. Let everybody see what two cowards look like right there. That's two cowards.
I sing in the shower. I sing in my truck. That's it.
And you pick Bama, you coward.
I was going to either lose that way or win. I was not losing on Georgia again, so I lost. Oh well.
Money and the power.
I hit the under.
Minute after minute, hour after hour. What's going on in the kitchen? Oh, I messed up. I was going back to 23-200. How can they reach me? I guess they can't. I guess they won't. I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool. Craig and Muse. Hey, bro. Will Wade. American gangster, right?
Yes, indeed. I mean, look, that... How about that? That
was
worked.
that intentional or
that
no?
was not, but it was a happy accident.
Oh.
we might have to bump in with this a lot when we talk Will Wade, though. Next time Will's on the show, this is his bump music.
Man, should have thought of that a long time ago. You know what I mean? Because everybody, even LSU did the shirts, the "I Will Wade for You" shirts.
I have one.
This is way better. So do I. This is way better.
This is better.
You know where I got mine was at the thing at LSU that you came to. Remember when I was moderating that panel?
Oh, is that where you got yours?
Yeah.
I don't remember where
they gave
I got
us a
mine.
gift basket. So when young Matthew Musso here was still a student at LSU, I moderated a panel for the Manship School. I forgot exactly what it was.
It's like the Sports Summit or something.
It was a Sports
Media
Summit
or something like that.
And they gave us like a thank you basket or whatever. And in my thank you bag, whatever, was the "I Will Wait for You" shirt.
I don't remember where I got mine, but I have it.
Well, you probably got it when you were a student. You went to a game and they gave it to
That's
students.
probably how.
That's
yeah.
probably what happened. Yeah. LSU's going to play Florida tomorrow. Xavier Pinson is not going to play for LSU. Probably not a tremendous surprise, but he has the MCL strain, which is the great news. Remember, no structural damage, not even a sprain, just a strain. Days, not Darius days. He'll be out for days, maybe a week or so. This is going to be tough. You're going on the road, Florida, Gainesville, tough place to play there at Exacatech Arena, which sounds so stupid. I just want to call it the O-Dome. You know what? I'm just calling it the O'Connell Center or the O-Dome. At the O-Dome. Florida is 9-5 on the season, but LSU's going to have to make do without their veteran point guard in Xavier Pinson, which means more minutes for Justice Williams. And Will Wade did talk about Justice Williams and the job he's done so far.
He's a really, really good player. And I mean, he should be a high school senior right now. But he's a talented player. And he plays at great pace. He's got tremendous pace. What does he have on the season? Like 1 turnover in about 30 minutes. 1 or 2 turnovers in 30 minutes. I mean, he's very smooth with the ball. He doesn't get rattled. He's a great shooter. He's a very, very good shooter. He'll be able to shoot off ball screens. He can make some challenge shots. So I mean, we expect him to step in and play well. We brought him here because he's a really good player. We brought him here because we believe in him. And we wouldn't have played him at Auburn if we didn't think he was ready to go. And he was certainly ready to go, and he's learned from that. And I think he'll be even better tomorrow night. So we have a lot of confidence in him.
Great hair as well. He being Justice Williams. But LSU is going to try to go win on the road. Their first road appearance in conference did not go well, as we know. They lost at Auburn. I'm waiting to see a line posted on this LSU-Florida game. But it's probably going to be close to a pick-em, if not Florida slight favorite. What I'm showing here from team rankings could be about a point, close to a pick-em. But it's tough to win on the road. It's tough to win in Gainesville. And Will Wade was asked about what makes Gainesville tough.
Oh, I mean, well, shoot, they've got good teams. I mean, probably most of the time we've gone down there with not the better team. I mean, when Donovan was there, I mean, they've had and Coach White's had some really good teams. I mean, they've had really good teams. It's a great atmosphere. Students get into it. The Rowdy Reptiles there, so it's a great atmosphere. They got great teams. They got really good players. They got great coaching. So any place is tough to win.
Florida is 0-2 in the league. They lost their opener at home against Bama, 83-70. And then they went on the road and lost to Auburn 85-73. As we know, no crime in losing on the road at Auburn. Really tough place. But Florida's pretty desperate to get in the win column in conference play. But they did lose their only home game of the season in conference play against Alabama. Will Wade also talked about playing. Can you play number 5, please? Elaborate on putting together a complete game on the road there against Florida.
I mean, we've yet to play a complete game. We didn't play a complete game against Tennessee. We had the lapse there, so it's going to take a complete game for us to win on the road, and we haven't been able to accomplish that yet. And so that's at the top of the list of what we want to try to get done in Gainesville is play a complete game, beginning, middle, end. Start the game well, finish the first half well, start the second half well, get the thing to a 6-minute game, do what we do in a 6-minute game. We haven't been able to do that. We haven't done that in a game in a long, long time. And so we've got to focus in on that and get better in those areas.
Teams are similar when you look at them statistically. Just the outlier is going to be LSU defensively. When you're the best defensive team in the country, you're just going to have a big disparity there. LSU allows 56 a game. Florida allows 63 a game. They're still a very good defensive team. LSU's just better as they're going to be than most teams they play in that stat. So see if they can go on the road and get a win tomorrow. I told you, I'll reiterate. In these first 7, win your 5 at home, split the 4 road games. I think the 2 that you're most likely to get are this one at Florida and at Tennessee. You already lost at Auburn. LSU never plays well at Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa. If you split your 4 road games, this is one I think you could and probably should get. So see if they can go get it tomorrow down in Gainesville. All right, we'll put a button here on our Tuesday edition of AFR, brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. You can always give them a buzz at 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. Jimmy Ott will be here for Otter Locks when we come back to wrap it up next. Stick around. AFR.
AFR.
River City's 1 hour air, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Look for the big yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. And maybe in this new year, what you really need is a new career. Maybe in this new year, that's what you're thinking about. How can I make more money? How can I have a more fulfilling career? River City's 1 hour air wants to make that happen. They bend over backwards for their employees. They had this is an amazing story. They had an employee who tore his Achilles and didn't have disability. So River City's 1 hour paid a manager to ride with him so he could still work and make money. They had a tech that was in a car wreck and was out of work. They assisted that tech with thousands of dollars since they were out of work. They're not going to hire you and lay you off seasonally, which a lot of companies do. That's not River City's 1 hour air. If you want a career instead of a job, River City's 1 hour air. Call or look up online. 752-0001, 752-0001.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. One thing left to do is find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, Presented by Clark Crane Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Francisville. Because a great deal is worth the short drive to Clark Crane.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
What do you think, baby? Huh? Ding, ding. Huh? There you go, little Dickie. So that, baby. How we doing? The trick question?
I'm doing great. Cashed a ticket last night. I always love
Good
cashing
for
a
you.
ticket. Yeah, hell
Good
yeah, I
for
did.
you,
I didn't back off of
Matthew.
it. I was all in on the dogs the whole way, Otter. Never a
Good.
doubt. Never a
Good.
doubt in my mind. Rocking chair cover, Otter. All that.
Oh, they finally start blocking with 10 minutes to go, thank God. But anyway.
Or Bama wore down, man.
Little Rudy's running for his life till 10 minutes. All of a sudden, he's got all the day in the world. I mean, geez. Oh, hey. Well, did you see him on Good Morning America?
Your boy was so toasted. He wasn't hungover, Otter. He was still drunk.
Oh, God bless him. He was so blasted.
I put that poor kid on a live interview at like 7 a.m.
Oh, Lord, he's been tugged around so much, man. But I love him cruising around, doing post-game. And still on the field with his red Solo Cup. That's my favorite.
Red Solo Cup. Your boy, did you see him drinking straight from the bottle of Pappy 23?
I did not see that.
I gotta
did not see
say,
that.
somebody must have handed him a bottle of Pappy, a Van Winkle 23. I don't know how much into whiskey you are, but man, that's secondary market. You're talking about a $5,000-$6,000 bottle in the secondary.
Oh, this is you're forgetting you're talking to. This is your Hoover, your Coco Van, your downtown Atlanta.
This is my guy.
Your dining partner.
Not this past year. You bailed on me.
Yes, I know. The late great Chris Ewing. Last time we were sipping Pappy Van Winkle on Derby Day. He's no longer with us, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And also we had, where we had it? At Hanny's coronation or whatever, the big ball the night before the parade in Franklin at the Hanson Gym. I mean, we're freaking a 1A gym in Hanson drinking Pappy. Yeah, come on.
Well, I'll just go to my house and drink it because I got plenty.
There you go. Thanks for the invite. All right.
I'm lying. I don't have plenty. I'm lying.
What are we doing? What are we doing still? We still don't think it's reverted to the mean in college hoops, especially in our favorite conference. A lot of home teams won and covered over the weekend again. And my favorite home game in the conference tonight is a team on a bounce-back spot. It's a rivalry game. I took the home team in a nasty rivalry in the Magnolia Bowl, or whatever they call it, the Egg Bowl in Mississippi. Kermit's crew rolled in Oxford on Saturday night, and I'm going to have Mississippi State when they play at the Hump. Well, Auburn at Alabama at Coleman Coliseum tonight. I think it's a short number at 3. I think these two teams are pretty even. Now, Bama's been more helter-skelter. Great wins against Houston, but then they trip up against Missouri on Saturday. That win a neutral up in Seattle against Gonzaga when they won by double digits. It's good of a win as there is in the country this year. They'll be packed at home. Hey, it's a basketball school. Be fired up tonight. Bama minus the 3 against Auburn. Got one slight play. Slightly early, too.
Bama's favored against Auburn, huh? Okay.
At home.
You're laying. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I get it. I didn't think they'd be laying 3.
Hey, I love the response. So I get 10 different texts and calls yesterday. Who you got tonight? Georgia. What? 10 for 10. So I like the reaction. Keep it coming, man. All right. So anyway.
I didn't say that you like about picking. I'm just surprised Bama is favored. That's all.
Anytime you're surprised at a line, just check and see who's playing at home. It's pretty standard. And listen, we talked about it earlier, and I heard you on your show kind of repeat it. Look, this is never more of a home court advantage. I don't know when it's going to revert back to the mean, but it still hasn't at this point. They're winning at home court at an unbelievable rate, and the odds makers just won't inflate the line more than their normal home court advantage. Another one tonight. Everybody's all over Kentucky. 80% of the bets at Bet Rivers on Kentucky, minus 8.5 or 9. I like Vandy a little bit. Andy, just a little bit, but Bama's my place.
Okay.
Listen up.
All right. I'll ride with you with Bama. What you got tonight,
Hey, those
man?
fans-
Where
they
are you
can't-
tonight?
Those fans think will pick me up, baby. You know, that's the basketball school. Look at the Bama fans. Birdside salad is where we are. You fill in the blank, sweetheart.
Little Mike
James.
Anderson's, man. Go get you a little Burnside
DJ
salad.
Hurricane is chucking away, man. We got a packed house over here. Yellow's hanging from the rafters, shooting Taffy with his red Solo cup.
My guy's on fire tonight. All right. Excuse me. All right, Otter. Have a great show, man. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, man. All right.
All right. That is Jimmy Ott. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us here in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Jimmy and I are both patients of Dr. Blake Williamson over at the Williamson Eye Center. I had LASIK 3 years ago. Jimmy had the lens replacement. I laugh, but when Jimmy and I would go out to dinner at SEC Media Days in like low-lit restaurants, he'd put the glasses on the end of his nose, and he'd have his phone out with the flashlight on his phone looking at the menu like this because he couldn't read it. Not anymore. Dr. Blake Williamson, the Williamson Eye Center, took care of that. No matter your age, your refractive issue, if you want to see without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center has a solution for you. Call 924-2020 to set up that consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or online at williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. All right, as we come down the stretch, can you believe it? We actually got out on time, with enough time for what we learned.
Got out early.
It's incredible. Normally, Otter's taking us right through the post. Muse, what'd you learn today?
LSU not ranked in the way too early top 25 at ESPN.
You think that's fair?
Way too early, yeah.
They were 6 and 7. Of course,
Yeah.
they should be ranked. It's completely fair. Just pay attention to the end of next year to see where they are. Paulie, what'd you learn?
I learned that Bama is a favorite for the 2022 title.
Bama is the betting favorite for the 2022 title. What were you telling me before the show, Muse, about Heisman odds for next year?
Look pretty wide open, man. Dylan Gabriel has the third best odds to win the Heisman Trophy next year. And then some guy named Tyler Van Dyke from Miami.
Bonkers.
What'd you learn today, Matt?
Kevin Faulk. You like the purple pants.
I did like the purple pants.
Broke my heart.
He said that.
He did. He said that. He liked the Independence Bowl alternates too. Broke my heart. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. Remember those 4 letters. Those 4 letters could end up saving you thousands of dollars. GMFSmortgage.com. Home buy, refi, construction loans. GMFSmortgage.com. As we head into a new year, GMFS Mortgage, a refinance could be exactly what you and your family need to help get your financial house in order. GMFSmortgage.com. Check them out online. Find the local loan officer nearest you. We are still at historically low interest rates. It's incredible. But what this means for you is a refinance of your mortgage could lower your monthly mortgage payment. You could shorten the life of your loan. Erica and I refinanced last year. We shaved 5 years off the life of our mortgage. And we skipped 2 payments because of how they structured the closing. It's worth the call. Look them up online. GMFSmortgage.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Thinking about a new car for the new year? Come on down to Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, where you never pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no gains. You can reserve yours today. Make the decision now. Come on down to Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline